Oh, hey there, children of the night. Just a quick Bob editing note here. I just want to apologize and say I'm sorry I haven't been very active, and I'm sorry it's been such a long delay for this episode. It's been long awaited at that. Unfortunately, if you guys have been keeping up with the Bob After Dark social media, you've seen the news. If not, my father has passed away due to complications to Alzheimer's, dementia, and post-polio syndrome. We're going to be back on schedule starting like after this one. Episodes will be out as normal. I just had to take a few weeks just to kind of, recuperate. We'll talk more about it on this next upcoming episode that'll be out after this one, but this episode's for you, Dad. I love you, and I miss you very much. From Mothman and Nessie to the spirit that haunts your home, welcome to Bob After Dark, a podcast about legends, lore, and the supernatural. So turn your lights down and your volume up and enjoy your trip to the shadows.
Hey there, children of the night, and welcome to Bob After Dark, the show that takes you into the shadows and goes and says hello everything that goes bumping at night. I'm your host with the most that enjoys toast, Bob, and alongside of me, as always, is my ever wonderful, ever vampiric, ever cape-wearing, ever the heartthrob of Bob After Dark, my friend, my producer, and these days my emotional caretaker, per se, Count Pank himself. Oh, hey there, Count.
I am all those things and much more, Bob. Emotional caretaker, producer, a vampire at the end of the day.
Heartthrob, too.
Heartthrob.
Remember, ladies, Count Panic is single.
People are swooning as I speak right here, so thank you all your ladies for listening. Ladies of the night.
Yeah, it's funny, Count. We, I do a lot of traveling for the show. We do the cons and stuff, and the people that listen that's not there for the first time are like, where's Count Panic?
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man.
Like the Fonz or something.
I'm just like, the show's called Bob After Dark. I host it, but they just want you.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'll take it, Bob. I'll take all the action I can get here. But here's the thing, Bob. We are back. We're back live here on the radio
it's nice
and
to be
on
back
Shed
live.
TV. We're back, Bob.
We're back. We are back. I'm not going to get into it too much this time. If you guys get a chance, we recorded a podcast episode last week. It explains kind of why there's been a sudden disappearance with the show. Unfortunately, my father's health is termed terminal, and we've been dealing with a lot there. More details, like I said, guys, if you're interested, check out the podcast from last week. We did a little episode just to kind of get the ball rolling. But, man, it's the outcry of support I've gotten from the Children of the Night community has been amazing. I can't thank you guys enough for that. We talk about death on the show on a constant, regular basis, and we deal with that kind of a thing every week, and we talk about these things, and then it's at your doorstep. It's facing me right now, and it's not a it's a very painful process what my dad's going through with late stages of dementia and Alzheimer's, and it's a really hard disease to see what's going on, and I will say there's definitely a solace and comfort in knowing what's going on in the world when you do these types of things. And it's hard to do this by yourself, and it's brutal when you think you're alone in the world, and then you realize that you have a fan base that reaches out to you, my friends and stuff, and family that's been reaching out. It's been really nice. And right now we're still doing the show. Even didn't, if there's one thing Dad ever wanted from me was, Dad always wanted this to be my full-time career. Dad always wanted me to be successful with the show, and that's a goal we'll be following straight on forward and getting it ready to go. So very happy to have that.
There you go, Bob.
What's been going on with you, Count?
Bob, just hanging around. What they say about March, as when we're recording this, it goes in like a lion, comes out like it's still actually a lion. It's pretty bad weather out there, Bob. I can't even fly around.
It's just a little chilly.
Just a little chilly, Bob. But it's the end of March. Let's crank those temperatures. I'm a vampire that wants to hit the pool side here, Bob. I don't know.
You can't be in the sun.
I could go at night to the pool.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Count. I have some good news.
Good news. Okay.
For once, I have good news. It's the only good news I've had that's really come out lately. I think I got my biggest convention booking of all time.
Nice.
Like, I just got confirmed I'll be speaking at the biggest convention that I've ever been asked to speak at. It's Anime Central, or
Okay,
ACEN, in Chicago. It's probably the biggest anime convention in the country here in Chicago. It's going to be my first time really speaking at a convention in Chicago. We don't have a date or anything yet. We were supposed to, I was supposed to have a couple bookings from now until then. I've kind of canceled them because of what's going on in my life. Mm-hmm. But at that point, things will probably happen the way they're supposed to, and I'll be there. But we got the booking for ACEN, so I'll be there.
All right.
So that's
More
really exciting.
details to come on that, Bob.
Yeah. Our count.
Yeah.
This episode's going to be a little different.
Okay.
It's going to be very different.
All right.
Because we have guests.
I can see it. I'm watching them right now.
And they're very special guests. And it's actually a very special time because this is a first for Bob After Dark. We've had female guests before, but nobody in the paranormal community. We had the lovely ladies from the Challenger Center when we did the spooky space stories.
Yep.
But I've never had, physically in studio with me was a female guest.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
There you go.
But I guess the first place to start is the beginning, and I'll let you do the introductions, Count Panic.
Well, here's the thing, Bob. You know, these folks, they have called in before. They have called in.
Yes.
They have basically graced their presence before as far as being on here with us. From ACG Paranormal. We got Elliot and Nat here. Now, they go by under code names. ACG is the last name. They're following that. ACG Paranormal is in the house right now.
Hello, everybody.
How's that for introduction? That was pretty good, right?
That was
good.
Yeah.
That was a good job, Count. We'll keep you on staff.
I try to build it up.
I'll keep you on staff for a little longer.
I just don't like saying their names. I feel like you got to build up to their names a little bit there. So.
Good job. So, hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome to Bob After Dark. By the way, I finally got a new cup, guys. It's not a Bob After Dark cup. It's what I call the buoy because it makes a lot of noise when I walk. Thanks, Queen of the Night, for my new cup. I'm excited to have one, so I'm not drinking tap water out of our death fountain here, as I call it. But anyway, hi, guys. Who are you? Ladies first.
Oh, well, I am Nat, and I am the leader of ACG Paranormal.
What does ACG stand for?
Always chasing ghosts.
That's great. It's better. Asparagus can grow.
Well, they can, yeah.
It can grow.
You're not wrong about that, Bob.
Asparagus can grow paranormal. I joke, of course, guys.
I think that might get some attention because people would be like, why are they named Asparagus Can Grow Paranormal?
Asparagus is like my new favorite food, but I digress. And then you are.
I am Elliot. I am the lead tech of ACG Paranormal.
Okay, so let's start with you. What does it mean to be the lead of a paranormal team? Like, what's your job?
So I pretty much tell people what to do.
Okay, that's fair.
I kind of get to tell people where they're going to have their solo. Sometimes we mix it up, but for the most part, I'm like, hey, can you set a camera there? We need a camera over there. I book the locations. I speak with the owners. I pretty much, any booking will be through me. I review.
Make all the videos.
I make all the videos. I review all the evidence. I watch about. We usually use our main cameras, and then we have backup cameras. What about 4 other cameras that we use?
Depends on the investigation.
Yeah, it depends on how big the investigation is, Bob. But for the most part, yeah, about 7 or 8 cameras I have to review, and then 4 digital recorders, and yeah, I think that's about it, right?
Depending on what I'm doing.
Depending on what the tech is.
Now, Steve, we get him on the show from time to time. I know he's not listening. He's out celebrating his birthday, but happy birthday to you, Steve.
Yeah,
happy birthday, Steve.
Steve tells us all the time about being the tech team guy, but we'll reiterate, what does it mean to be the tech team guy other than being a complete dork?
So I actually spend most of the investigation running to get batteries and inventing things in my spare time. So a lot of what I do is I try to make my own devices so that I can keep our evidence as accurate as possible.
Okay, tell me, you invent things.
So a lot of inventing things for the paranormal is just breaking other devices and trying to make spirits interact with them. So I'll break something I was breaking one of those repeating talking parrots recently and trying to get the ghost to talk through that. I don't think they liked it very much, but
I have an idea for you. I'll let you continue, but it just popped in there.
no, go ahead.
Okay, so you know that you're talking about those talking bear toys, right? I have something for you. The loudmouth singing bass.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
brilliant.
Yeah, listen, I've never seen it done on an investigation. I never thought about it. But listen, can you imagine you're like doing like an EVP session or something and this fish just flops, like the head turns and it just starts talking?
Billy the Spirit Bass.
Please.
I
can
only
do that.
imagine.
I can make like anything. You just throw sensors and stuff. I will do that for you, Bob.
Listen.
I think, yeah. Yeah.
If any of the fans at home or any of the fans that listen to this podcast have a loudmouth singing bass that is sitting in their closet, send it in to me. I will pay for shipping because I don't know if you can find this thing anymore. I'll pay for shipping. I don't collect paranormal investigation equipment because I usually go on tours with groups like yours when I'm out, and I belong to a paranormal investigation group, Northwest Indiana Paranormal, when I could go out. But I don't do investigations myself. I'm always with a group, or more of the a touring guy. I'm an investigator. I get it, but listen. The one piece of equipment I want is the loudmouth singing bass like spirit box. That's what I want.
I mean, I'm working on making spirit boxes now.
That's amazing. Yes.
So,
I just want the head to move when the spirit talks. The imagery for that would be like everything to
Somebody
me.
That
has
would
that in
be-
the basement there. You know somebody has
Somebody,
that.
that's what I'm saying. Somebody out there listening in the Children of Nightland has it on their wall, and they're like, I don't like this thing. It was probably, because I remember it was big in like the early 2000s, like or late 90s. Someone has that. Maybe their dad bought it and they hated it, but they didn't want send it to me. I want it so I could give it to Elliot so I could get a new piece of equipment.
I think that would be my scariest piece of equipment. That would be terrifying. A fish just starts talking
In the middle of an
intelligent
investigation.
responses.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if the thing like moved its tail, like if you're
God.
trying to ask it questions and it flaps?
So
its
what we
tail?
could work on is I gotta
I'm
break
just
the thing
picturing
open
Yes.
first to see what's inside of it. But if it has two different motors, I could make it so that like the tail is a motion sensor and the head goes off when the speaker goes off.
Count.
Yeah.
Listen,
It's $1 million idea.
listen. That's everything I ever wanted in my life. Now, we're gonna doll it up to give the fish like a little flannel too, and it'll be the bobfish. That's what
The
Bob Bass.
Bob Bass.
the bob bass. I love it. That is. Listen, I appreciate that. Is just a stroke of genius, but it came from you. So, what is some of the other stuff you've like worked on and invented?
So currently I have some REM pods that are
What is a REM pod? Remember, I
Yes,
know what
I know.
REM pods are, but we have fans out there that might not know.
It is a electromagnetic field off of an antenna, and when something breaks that field, it can sense how close whatever breaks it is to the antenna and lights up lights and makes noise
Okay.
in response to that. So I've been building those for Bell Mansion in Indiana, Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Amazing place. I got some portals there that's like it basically adds reverb and it cuts out some of the static from spirit boxes. Those are pretty useful. We always use something like that because it just makes it easier to hear the intelligent responses.
Yeah, the spear box can get a little
Stacky.
much sometimes.
Yeah, I do the one of my favorite things to do when I do investigations. I can't think of the name of the experiment off the top of my head, but it's a sensory deprivation with the white noise that fills, and they'll go through like the spirit box channel. You do the whited out goggles, and then
The Estes.
Estes. Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do on an investigation. That's like my jam. So, but yes, I understand the staticky things because that
the
can
static thing.
Well, some of the boxes actually have a static chip in them. I've tried removing it and possibly broke some boxes because I
Good
can't
job.
figure out. Yeah,
that's great.
I break things a lot.
What's your favorite piece of equipment to use on an investigation? This goes for both of you.
My favorite is definitely proximity sensors, just because like radio frequency stuff can be interfered, but like anything that has LiDAR or any sort of radar, like anything that has very narrow field of triggering it, is what I like.
Okay.
My favorite would have to be digital recorders. I love EVPs. Like, if you have EVPs, you can send them to us. I will sit there and listen to them for hours.
You might just get Count Panic's like new audiobook recording
Yeah.
that he does. Don't give him any.
I think
ideas.
I'm
that's
fine
another
with
great idea here tonight. Yeah.
Oh, this is an EVP session. No, it's actually Count's audition tape for his audiobook work when we retire from doing Bob After Dark.
That's awesome.
The joy of counting. All of my life
you
as a
guys are
count.
killing
That
me
is
tonight.
amazing.
Do you guys ever use esoteric tools with your investigations? What I mean by esoteric is more occulty stuff. So, crystal work, Ouija boards, anything of the sorts.
We do collab with this girl named Sharice Williams. She's actually in the documentary series that we're working on.
We'll talk as much as we can about that later.
And she does tarot readings, and I've been kind of trying to put that into our investigating too when she's not with us, where we actually read for the location, like what kind of energy we're gonna have for the night. I like wearing crystals, but for the most part, I don't really
Okay.
use them.
So, as the tech, I have to
Oh,
say,
you throw that right out the window.
technically,
Technically,
almost everything we use is crystals because
Yeah.
all the electronics are made out of crystals for the most part. Like, the base of a lot of electronics is crystals. There's crystals and chips and, like, parts. So, yeah, we use a lot of
Yeah.
different things that have crystals, but we also use, so I've been getting better with it, but I read playing cards instead of tarot cards.
I can't think of the name offhand. It's been a long couple of weeks, but I've been dabbling in that myself because
It's
I
very
do
interesting.
divination readings and I'm learning tarot as we speak and that as well.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I do pendulum work a lot. That's why I ask about the esoteric side of things. But you being a tech guy, you're like, throw that in the garbage.
I'm like, that pendulum's got to be on like a mount, and it's got to be no one touches.
Leveled. That's got to sit perfectly leveled.
I actually was working on that. I had levels, and I was gluing them to a board, and I'm like, I gotta make this like perfect. So, but my problem with that is me doing it. I don't trust my hands to not wiggle. But like people that
very
practice
shaky.
it, you know,
Oh, sure.
I mean, I got into this field as a skeptic, so
That's an important
I'm
place.
working.
And we are going to get in your origin stories too, because I love to hear people's origin stories. We'll get into that, folks. Our hotline is open 219-845-1100. You can call and ask any one of us a question, specifically if Count Panic is a apple juice or orange juice fan.
Oh man, I don't know. Did I get this? I feel like these days I'm more apple juice.
I lean towards cranberry myself.
Well, you didn't give me that option, Bob.
Okay, do you pick cranberry
I'll
out of
choose
three?
cranberry juice. Then, yeah.
I have cranberry's my jam, but I digress. So
orange juice?
219-845-1100. It's not often I get paranormal investigators in here because typically I do the ghost story aspect, but getting people in the field, especially because you guys, I love you both very much. You guys are dear friends of mine.
Thanks,
We love
So
you, Bob.
I
We
wanted
love
some
you.
great guests on the show. We had Andy and JC on
Yeah, we did.
recently-ish. Back in October, I think, and that's about it. I don't get investigators on the show very often because it's like you guys live in your own realm, and I'm going to tell you the story aspect of things. Like I do the investigations. Don't get me wrong. I'm well versed in how most things work, but it's always fascinating to have that
See,
investigative
I
side.
love learning the stories and then personally telling like people one-on-one, like, oh, hey, there's a spirit here that, you know, you should go check them out sometime.
Well, since you spoke up, you get to do your origin story first, Nat.
Okay, Bob.
So where does the story of Nat and the paranormal begin?
Oh my goodness. So when I was little, I actually saw spirits and I just thought they were people.
Okay.
But, you know, like when I kind of put the two and two together when I was a little bit older, I'm like, yeah, that, you know, they were very out of place for where they were. And I remember when I was about 7 or 8 years old, that was about when I was like, okay, definitely am seeing ghosts because it was in my house. I was, yes, about 8 years old. I had to use the restroom. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I was well awake. I put my foot down, and my bed was facing directly into the hallway. We kept the light on because the house creeped me out the minute I moved in there. And as I was about to get up, I saw this tall lady walk into the doorway. She looked like her hair was all pushed back, and she looked like she was sick. And she looked at me, she looked back, looked at me again, and then just kept going. And I just sat there, with my foot still on the floor. And I was like, do I go to the bathroom or do I just sit here? Eventually, about a half an hour later, I ran down the stairs, to the restroom, came back up, and I just hid under the bed. And I told everybody at school the next day, I saw something, and of course I got the label of Ghost Girl by the time I was 8 years old. So,
It's a good nickname.
yeah, I was definitely the weirdo, but you know what? Ghost stories have always brought me closer to people. Like, I've been, some of my best friends I've actually made through, they're not in the paranormal community, but I've made friends with them because they had a ghost story of their own.
What's your favorite ghost story? Especially because we're Chicago-based here, so what's your favorite ghost story based around here?
Okay, so the Congress Hotel is my favorite location.
Why?
So when I was about 16 or 17, so my sister actually had a sleepover there with her friends. I think it was like an 8th grade type thing. And she was like, you like spooky stuff. You need to go to this hotel. She showed me pictures, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to this hotel. I would hop on the train by myself, head into the city, and I went to the Congress. And I would walk around the hallways by myself. But the first time I went there with, I believe it was three friends? Yes, 3 friends. And we were just walking in the hallways, and all of a sudden, and if you've been to the Congress Hotel, they have some hallways that have light, some hallways don't have light. But we went into one hallway that did have light, and all of a sudden I saw, it looked like a shadow figure just run by. And I was just like, did you guys see that? And they were like, no. I kept walking to about where I saw the shadow figure, and I actually blacked out. My friends actually had to carry me out of the hallway, sit me, and I would think I was like on some steps, and they were like giving me water, and they were like, hello, are you there? Are you okay? And I just was like, all I remember, I must have been blacked out for a good 2-3 minutes, because all I remember was something felt like it grabbed me. And that's all I can remember. Well, after that, I got hooked on the Congress. I was like, gotta go back. I gotta figure out what that was. Finally, I started Googling the place because, I'm like, I wonder what is the story behind this location. And I did find an article that the floor that we were on, there was an immigrant woman who came to the States, and she wound up, there's something complicated with her husband where he couldn't come over, and she wound up throwing her 2 children off the 12th floor along with herself. And when I read that, I was like, that it definitely felt like someone was grabbing me. And since then, I've spent the night at the Congress several times. Every time I've had some sort of paranormal thing happen. Been, stroked on the face at night. My light has gone on and off. That could just be electrical. But with spirit box, are you here? Straight guy saying, here, it's crazy how many experiences I've had at that location. And I've talked to the employees there too, and some of them want to talk about it, some of them don't. So it was just kind of like my hangout back in the day.
Sure.
Was the Congress Hotel.
Why investigation? Where did that come into play in your life?
So I started investigating, actually, I was about 13, and, once again, I was the ghost girl, so
Sure.
I wanted to venture out, and my first location, I would say, that, is known to be haunted, that was spooky, was the Manteno State Hospital. And the first time I went there, I went by myself. I had my mom drive me, and I was like, I'm just going to walk around now. And so I kind of just, went inside, like building by building, And then the next time I went, I was like, I want to do like where I spend more time here. Do you guys want to come with my friends? They're like, we're all like 13, 14. So we went and I found the tunnel that I believe that went to I don't know what it was. It was where I'm guessing they burned the bodies because it did go to a smokestack. And they would not, even enter the tunnel, but here I was like, okay, if you guys aren't going to go in, I'm going to go in by myself. So I just started going down, 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 and by the time I looked back by myself, like the hole to the entryway was like pinhead size. Like it was I couldn't see anything in front of me, and I was just like, I like this. Like
Yeah.
like I just got that adrenaline rush, and I've just kind of stuck with it since. So definitely, that's where I get my rush these days, is just finding spooky buildings, trying to connect with, the spirits there and the locations. And I've met so many, great people because of it. And it's definitely my passion. So
There's a line that you brought up to me earlier, preface to this. You guys came up early before the show, and we did not an investigation. We did a graveyard walk or cemetery walk through Hessville Memorial, and we were talking a little bit because you were walking around with a spirit box, and you were like, "I resonate with this type of thing." And what's that? Because you gave that quote to me. You're like, I typically attract fill in the blank.
Children are, and it's cool because like even like kids, it's sad to know that there's children's spirit out there, but it also is when they come to you, they're trying to find something that they lost. And I think wherever you go, for a child spirit to come to me, right away I'm just like, I'll be your mom, like,
Aw.
like I just want to hug them,
Sure.
like I get kind of that mama bear approach. And it's like with any spirit though, if a spirit approaches you, you take the time to get to know who they are, really. And that's one of the biggest issues I feel, Bob, is like people go into these locations and they're just like, demon, demon, demon. You don't know who you're talking to. You could be talking to that little kid, like, or you might not be.
To
but
be fair, side note, some of these kid spirits are demons themselves.
Oh, yeah.
that's why I left that little side comment right there,
Trust
Bob.
me, when the kid spills the water on you in the middle of the night, that's on my list of things that make me angry very fast.
We have a deal with the ones at our house.
We
is
do have a
don't wake
kid.
us up. Well, I have a deal. Don't wake me up, so the kid wakes her up.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
And I have heard him, and he's not a demon. Like
No, he's a kid.
We actually have a connection with him.
He
that-
loves French fries.
He used to see him as we're in
Wait,
Elliot's
my
childhood
origin
home.
story's next.
Don't think I forgot about him.
Don't
You
take
can't
my
tell-
origin
Don't
story.
take his secret origin story. Jeez.
But as she gets to see children's spirits and interacts with them, I get grumpy male spirits. So,
animals,
I guess
animals
it-
for me, 100%.
Animals.
Yeah, animal
See,
spirits.
that's pretty cool.
That's I'm not a there are people that specialize in like pet mediumship and stuff. I am not that because I'll anybody. But if there is a like cat entity in the room, I will pick up on that right straight away and be
That's
like,
awesome.
"Oh no, that's terrifying." Imagine sleeping at night and you are aware that you have the different cats in the room, and there's another one there, and it's like you're not my cat that I normally sleep with. So,
Do
where
they
are you
ever
from?
fight with each other?
Sometimes they get freaked out. They really do. That and I don't know. That's a weird question. Who I resonate with? There's animal spirits I could pick up on right away, or if something's manifesting as some sort of animal, like yeah, I get that. But no, that's good. It's a good answer. Did you think I forgot about you at the end of the hall?
No, I was just stopping her from stealing my origin story.
All right.
I will talk.
Okay. Okay. So Elliot, secret
Yes.
origin. Where does it all begin with you? Your fascination of the paranormal.
So I grew up in the house that we are currently in, and when I was younger, I had an invisible friend.
Like a lot of
and
kids do.
He turned out not to be an imaginary invisible friend.
Oh.
So when I was younger, I would see him, and then also I would see a guy I called the Shadow Man walking up and down the stairs.
That's not startling at all.
And I looked at my journals from when I was younger, and I had like Shadow Man. I saw Shadow Man. Like it was just like normal stuff to write in. And currently, the house we live in, there is a Shadow Man that walks around the house, and he has communicated with us before. We have two spirits that stay in the house. It's the kid and the Shadow Man. We have other ones that hang out in the garage.
And Wendell.
We'll
talk about Wendell in a little bit.
But the kid spirit who I grew up with would call me through the vents of the house and would tell me to come play. And my mom would be like, no, don't go play with the child in the vents. So that got me when I was a kid, but I oppressed like all that or repressed all that. And then as we were together, when I was older, are together, when we started dating.
Careful your phrasing there, Elliot.
When we started dating.
Yeah.
As we did more investigations, she would be like, oh, hey, like, I got this equipment. And I'm like, no, let's take that apart, resolder, it won't work. Over time, things still worked and did things that they shouldn't do. So the tech got me interested. And then we went to Ashmore Estates. And we'll go back to the kid in a moment.
Yeah.
She tells that story better than I do, so I'll let her tell it. And it mainly involves her. But at Ashmore Estates, we were standing there, and there was a little girl talking next to me.
Oh.
Like, I could physically, I could hear her.
We're talking about a spirit.
A spirit,
okay.
yeah. It's hard when you're in this world.
No, I
of the
I get
paranormal
it.
investigators.
Remember, I have fans that don't understand these things. So
man.
You just gotta...
We'll be sitting and talking to another paranormal investigator with an outsider with us, and the outsiders will always be like, so there was a guy in the hallway, like a real guy or a ghost? And like it's just it's so hard because our lingo is so used to saying a little girl as in just, But I think that was the point that really got me into investigating because I couldn't explain it. There was no way I could explain it. We had it on recording. She was the only other person there, and she obviously is not the voice of a small child girl, which, but I have on recording that she didn't do it. She didn't make that noise.
We have it.
It was weird. It was real weird.
It's like a baby doll voice.
But back to the kid who loves French fries and root beer floats. Do you want to tell the story about...
Yeah, because you're all over the place.
I'm all over the place. She's in charge of my memory. She's in charge of telling stories. There's a reason she's the leader. She's better at organization and all that. I'm good at breaking things.
But I'm not going to know how you want your peanut butter and jelly. Do you use regular creamy peanut butter or crunchy? That's the important question.
I take a jar.
I know, but is it
and
crunchy
I mix the jelly in there.
Is it crunchy or creamy?
Creamy.
Thank you. So he can answer his own questions, and I am very proud of you for giving the creamy answer.
But she's the one. So the first night...
I go into detail. Let's just say that.
The first night she spent the night at my house, she wakes up in the morning and asks me where my attic is.
See, you're doing good.
And I'm like, why do you need to know where the attic is? And she's like, because the little boy in my dream told me there's toys up there. And I'm like, what little boy in your dream? And it turns out the little boy in her dream's description is my invisible friend as a kid.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that, Bob.
That's fascinating.
It was very weird and shocking. And since then, we have communicated with him through Spirit Box, and he...
You got a name? Is there a name?
Did we ever get a...
I don't think we did.
I don't think we got a name for him.
Ask him if his name's
But
Henry.
he does love French fries.
Was it Henry?
It might have been Henry.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, I think it was.
Because we have a few names. We have them written down at home and stuff.
Sure.
Because there's quite a few spirits on our property.
Yes.
I think it's because of the beacon effect where
There's
people talking to us over
sure.
here.
No, I get it. And we talk about that a lot. People in this kind of community always seem to either bring things home purposely sometimes. Things will follow you home or things will just show up.
Yeah, well, we don't purposely bring them home, but sometimes they seem to travel, so they'll follow us for a week or two, and then they seem to go back.
I do know there's a woman named Lizzie. She's from the 1930s. She's very like, posh.
Posh. I like that word, posh.
And then there's Robert, who has a very deep voice. And then there's the little kid, which I'm pretty sure was named Henry.
Yeah,
like,
I impress myself sometimes, folks.
He did ask us through the spirit box. He asked us for French fries and floaties, which we took as root beer floats because
That's great. That's amazing.
We had a fun time though. We went out and had French fries and root beer floats in the garage
we
with
left him
him.
some.
That's good. Oh, it's important.
Yeah,
We brought some
he's a
for
good
Wendell
kid.
too.
Yeah, Wendell. We're going to talk about Wendell. So, why investigations? Like, where did that come into play in your life?
So as a kid, I loved taking things apart and making other things
I'm
out
sure
of
your
them.
parents love that.
Oh,
I did the same thing. I took everything apart, but my mom's listening these days, alone. But mom will tell you I took things apart. I never put them back
no,
together.
me either. So there's still pieces all over our.
Oh my
like,
God, she's I could tell you, mom right now is laughing because the backs of remotes, that plastic clip, missing on everything.
Oh man, my favorite was sewing machines. So every spindle on the sewing machines was always lost because they'd be like in a
Bob,
pile of
our
random other
living
things
room
that I
right
took.
now
Yeah, it is
just
piled.
little tiny pieces, little tiny.
Those
pieces
are important. I don't know what they all are, but they're important. I love breaking things. I love
As long as he puts it back together.
sometimes. Sometimes it goes back together as something else though. Like
yeah.
our bass wool.
The Bob Bass.
I want the Bob Bass so bad.
I'll have to look for it.
You
'cause
just give him like
someone,
the serious look.
So someone told me to try to make a speak and spell, somehow that they can operate it, and I still got to do that because that's a lot
Okay.
of circuitry there. But Bob Bass isn't a lot of circuitry.
Okay. Why investigation? Where did that come from? Sorry, I have to. You guys are
kind
so
of-
wonderful to talk to.
We are all over the
I
place.
feel like we're
Yeah.
having a conversation. I'm like, I have to remember I'm interviewing you.
Oh yes.
So
yes.
I investigate because of her. She's very weird and freaks me out and scares me sometimes with her abilities. So I like to make inventions or use devices that will, to me, solidify what she sees or what she
So she
feels.
got you into investigating.
Yeah.
So you didn't read that was just something you guys got together and you're like, oh, I want to prove what you're experiencing.
Oh, no, I was a hardcore skeptic when she met me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't believe
Even
any
though
of
you
it.
had the little kid that hung around.
The little kid, I think, is part of why I was a hardcore skeptic because my brain was like, oh, we don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, I get that's fair. People repress things. Count, are you okay over there?
I'm fine, Bob. I'm listening.
Any questions?
Well, I too like root beer floats and French fries as well. So I might have to hang out with. I'm a ghost. I might hang out with you guys maybe. Get my
Dude,
fix.
I'll bring you root beer
All right,
floats.
There you go.
So you got into investigations. Basically, you were doing it before, and then you just kind of followed suit.
Yeah.
Were you interested in the paranormal up to that point, or was it more like I could get my hands dirty with tech, and that's why I want to get involved in this?
So when I was younger, like in high school, I was deeply interested in the paranormal. I read a lot of like witchcraft books. I would
Okay.
read a series called Man, Myth, and Magic. That was one of my favorites.
I have a couple of those in my collection myself.
I have
yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, they're
They're
good reads.
Dude, they're cool.
They were the Time Life ones, man. They did that one, and then they did the Mysteries of the Universe black and white ones.
Yeah, those are so cool.
My partner and I have quite a few of those. The Queen of the Night, but no, that's great.
They have the cool pictures in them
Yes,
too.
they do. They are. Yes, you're very
Yeah.
correct. But so you're reading these books, and then did you ever imagine you'd be in the situation that you're in now, where you're like, I get to build this really cool equipment?
Man, the paranormal, it's so weird because a lot of things in my life have added up to, like, I know coding, I know soldering, I know just random things that I've learned over time have added up to being very useful for the paranormal. Different history facts that I've learned, like just random things have come up. The paranormal and investigating in general, I feel like a lot of things that we do just happen. Like, there's no, I guess there's a reason, but like it kind of just all falls together in a weird, wonderful way.
I talked to, I had Andy Collins on here a while ago from Heartland Paranormal. I think what's JC's paranormal group called? Panic. I lost the account.
Off the top of my head, I gotta look it up.
I think it's Heartland, but they were. Andy sat and he was like, I don't think anybody goes out and searches for the paranormal like world. I think the paranormal world finds you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So you think that's the case with you then?
Yeah.
And so, what are some? You talk about? You're really passionate about the inventing aspect. What's your favorite thing you've ever done, or like you created? It may not have worked, but it was a cool concept at the time, or something.
Some of my favorite things, I'm trying to think of something that I can talk about because I've made a bunch of cool things for upcoming documentary series.
I get it. We'll talk about that. I understand.
So it didn't work as great as I thought it would, but I did make a really cool, it was a deck of cards that I hollowed out, and it took me it's a lot harder to hollow out a deck of cards than you think it would be. It takes quite a while.
Yeah.
I hollowed it out and I put a touch sensor in them so that the ghosts in the poker room at the Bell Mansion could set it off, but they didn't do it. But I'm gonna replace it with a REM pod sensor. But I like making specific things for different locations. So like my favorite device at one location might be a different device at a next location. So like when we were at Indiana State, my favorite device is recorders because there's so many disembodied voices.
Sure.
When we're at the Bell Mansion, it's REM pods because the spirits there will respond like almost instantly with answers with the REM pods. And before that place, I wasn't a huge fan of REM pods. I think that place has completely changed my mind. So for me, I can't really name one device that is my favorite or what my favorite thing is because every investigation I go into with a different mindset and it's a different world. And if I go to locations more than once, I get to know those spirits and the things that they like or the things that they want. If like they're asking for flowers, maybe I'll make motion sensor flowers that will play music that they might have requested.
That's clever. Look at that. So like investigate once, see what they want, and then go back with a new item.
I like to approach it like I would a person. If I came over to your house, Bob, I wouldn't bring something that you said you didn't like. Yeah, just random stuff. Yeah.
Meat.
Here, Bob, here's a tray of meat. Like I want to get to know the spirits and see what they actually like. And it's cool because in our house, so I was trying to use a stereograph with I think it was a stereograph. I forget what it's called. It's an instrument that David Bowie was using. And I forget the name of it.
Count, what is it?
It's like
instrument?
it's a little keyboard, and
Count knows
I
this.
gotta get fact checking.
I'm throwing you under the bus.
questions at me. I need a encyclopedia here.
but it's like a little mini synthesizer, and I think that was cool with them because like I was trying to get the spirits at our house to use it. My favorite objects aren't always ones that work because I really like things that fail also because it's just the experience of trying to use it.
Okay, so Nat, favorite place you've ever investigated?
Ooh. I want to say Indiana State Sanatorium, but I know that's what he's gonna say.
You know me
You guys
way
can
too
have the
well.
same answer.
Yeah, I would say Indiana State or Gettysburg.
Gettysburg was crazy.
Did you get to go on the ground in Gettysburg with equipment when you were there?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, don't say yes.
No.
I don't know if we're supposed to do that.
Oh,
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's up to you.
sorry. We'll get to the secretive stuff here soon, guys. I promise. No, but we'll say Indiana State, right? Because we can't talk about the other thing.
We can talk about Gettysburg because cameras are allowed, I think. We did get
you guys snuck in there.
No,
with
it was
you snuck
open.
equipment in there.
Well, we did get a ghost laughing at Nat falling down.
He called me stupid.
Yeah. Not me, the
With
ghost.
like a southern accent too. I tripped on myself.
It's okay.
And-
I think statute of limitations is fine, by the way.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that was
guys
a
are
while
fine.
ago.
It's fine.
So
And he was just like, stupid. And I'm just like, oh, dang. Like, okay. So, yeah, Gettysburg has a lot of history, and I love it there.
I have yet to go. Queen
I
of the
feel
Night's been
like
there a few times. She said it's heavy. The air there is
Yes.
heavy.
the
Yes.
orphanage freaked me out. I did
orphanage
not
was
like
rough.
that.
Yeah.
It was very, very heavy.
But Indiana State, I know the spirits by now. I just have this connection with that place, and had some of the craziest disembodied voices I've ever heard in my life. Like, all in one night. I mean, it's every time I've gone there, but the first time that we went there, it was just like every 10 minutes you would hear like laughing, whispering, crying, growling, like just insane, like in your ear. Like, that place definitely, I want to say, is my number one.
And you.
So, since she said Indiana State
You guys
is
can
like.
have the same answer.
So
it's fine.
listen. I got a good answer.
Okay.
But we've
Indiana
been to many
State
places.
is like the Disney World or a theme park of paranormal.
Sure.
Because it's wild, it's huge. The Bell is like the Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, tell me
So
about
like
the Bell.
if you want a nice stay, a really comfortable place that has electricity and heating and air, like the spirits there are so responsive. Like I said, they responded with REM pods, which I really didn't think it was possible. The things that they, like, Nat was sitting there and she's like, light the one up that's on the embalming table, and they'd light it up. She'd be like, light the one that's up on the floor, and they'd light it up. I'm like, this is amazing. So my favorite location is anywhere that the spirits want to communicate. We have a friend's house that we go to, and that's one of my favorite locations too, because there's a little old lady there that will talk to us, and she set off my flux, which is a proximity sensor using LiDAR. She set it off back and forth, back and forth. There's two sides, red and green. And she made it go back and forth, and I had a TV. I was trying a static experiment with her to see if she would respond to it or could show herself in the static. And I turned the TV off, and I'm like, what's going on? Do you want me to turn the TV off? And the flux went green right away. Yes, because she knows the equipment. And then through Nat's spirit box, we got a little old lady going, tired.
She's just like, tired. And I'm like, oh, turn it off. She's tired.
It's so hard for me to say one location because I feel like there's so many spirits out there that are hungry to communicate.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah. Good
Dream
answer.
place you guys would like to investigate.
Chernobyl.
Dang.
That would be amazing.
I was like,
You didn't even think.
No, just Chernobyl. Hey, man, I've been listening to your show for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I was ready for that.
you know, I don't know. I just feel like there's so many places. I would have to say, I can't name an exact one, but I would love to do like an old like Japanese temple, if that's,
Ooh, that'd be
like
interesting.
even possible.
Oh, it's possible. You won't like your answers. You're going to get attacked by a kid soon.
Oh yeah.
Then you call me. I'll deal with it.
I don't know, just old castle, old something ancient, something that's sacred.
What about Dracula's castle?
That would be pretty cool. Count, can you got the hookup?
You know what? I could pull some strings for you. I could make some phone calls. We'll get you in there soon.
Count Dracula actually called the hotline recently. Panic.
No,
Believe it or not.
really?
Yeah, true story. We have you guys listen to the show, so
yeah.
I was hoping Count Dracula would call tonight, just because you asked.
219-845-1100.
Sometimes he listens. Other times he'll randomly call the Bob After Dark hotline, which is under construction. But he'll call and he'll give me puns, and then it's truth.
Good to know he's still out there.
He's amazing.
It's been a while since we heard from the Count, so he's out there.
It was
still.
recent.
Yeah.
But Count, I've never asked you that, Count. What's your dream location spot of wanting to investigate something?
Mars Cheese Castle.
Ooh, let's do it.
We've investigated there several times.
Oh, we gotta go back though.
I don't think there's many spirits of the wandering variety, just of the drinking variety.
There's more work to be done there, Bob.
I'll meet up with the full equipment there.
Yeah,
Let's do
they
it.
got let us in, right?
Can we make like
I don't think I can
a
have anything in
cheese
there.
REM pod?
I think
Are you
every
lactose?
I am severely
That
lactose.
is so unfortunate.
I am
Yeah.
too.
Oh my god.
Sad
That Bob,
story.
that would be horrible for
That'd
you,
be
Bob.
that'd be death for me
Yeah,
instantly. I swear.
Yeah, just throw Elliot in there. He'll become a ghost if you give him
Jeez.
enough.
Nobody's ever asked me that question. Now I'm thinking about it in my head. Tower of London would be mine.
We've been
Oh,
there.
dude.
Yeah,
You want to talk about somewhere that felt heavy?
yeah.
That place was
I would like to
That
get
place
some
is
actual
heavy.
equipment. Did you guys get to bring equipment there? Or
No, they won't. They
We
won't
did
let us do that.
pictures and that's about it. But just walking around there and feeling the place,
I mean, there's all the the armor and the swords and weapons in there. That stuff alone is like.
Yeah.
They have the torture chamber too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm about to stay the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where I'm going to
okay,
hang out. Yeah,
Bob.
I'll hang out in the
Alright.
torture room. That's fine. It don't bother me any. No, but I'm glad you guys answered that. We got about 9 minutes left here for the show. There's one thing I know you can't talk about too much, and we'll get to that at the end. But I want to talk about Wendell for a minute.
Wendell.
I love Wendell.
So can you tell me about Wendell? And because that's if my fans could be appreciative of anything I can do, it's sometimes I could pick things out of the ether, especially when under the influence.
So
Give me your dolls.
I was
No,
like,
don't send me dolls, guys.
how did
I have
we even,
enough of them.
How did we even come about that, Bob? Did I just send you a picture of him, or did I'd be like, hey Bob, I got something that's gonna freak you out.
I got
I
something
don't remember.
good for
I
you.
was I was enjoying some adult beverages one night, and I'm chatting with Elliot online, and somehow this thing comes up about this dummy, right?
I think I just found him.
Yeah.
I found him in weirdly you called it out. I found him in a shoebox in the attic, and I don't know why we were talking about him, but I sent you a picture of him, and you're like, oh, that's Wendell. He does not like that he was in a shoebox in the attic. I'm like, Bob, what on earth are you talking about? Like, how did you know this? Because I know I did not tell you that, and there's no way you would have known that. But Wendell is fantastic.
So what is Wendell?
So Wendell is was it Jerry Mahoney?
Jerry Mahoney.
He's a Jerry Mahoney, in like green khaki outfit.
Is it a dummy or ventriloquist?
He is a ventriloquist dummy.
Okay.
And he is actually in charge of all the spirits at our house because I've appointed him as in charge because he's the most talkative and he seems to be on a nice level
Sure.
where he like communicates with us back and forth for the most part. And he has hit cat balls, which are vibration sensors. He has set them off. He has come through the spirit box saying Wendell, which was weird. Because that's not a very common name.
No.
He's just like Wendell, like.
And we know his voice, and he has called my friend creepy before. Because my friend was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take this." Because I was giving him something, and he's like, "Any of you spirits want to attach to it? Don't do that." And Wendell's voice came through, and he's like, "You're creepy," or what?
No, he said, "That's creepy."
Yeah, that's
Like-
creepy. Like, don't talk about us attaching to random items.
Like, no, I don't want to come home with you. That's weird. Like, I don't even know you. But yeah, Wendell, he's growing on me. I'm not a big fan of the dolls either. I feel like they're always watching me. So
I don't like him.
I took
don't
him on a
like
road
'em.
trip.
Like,
Take a road trip.
I took Wendell on a road trip. I took him
how'd that
to
go?
a convention. He enjoyed
yeah.
it. People loved him. Kids loved him.
Oh, kids-
Surprisingly, I didn't think kids would love him, but they kept coming up. They're like, "Can I touch him?" I'm like, "You can say hi to him." Like, I don't know if he's okay
I
with
was
you
like,
touching
can
him.
we
but-
put the dolls away? And right when I said that, these two kids come up and they're like, "We like the dolls," and I'm like, "Oh, kids."
Wendell has a
Like-
friend. He has a W.C. Fields ventriloquist dummy also that he hangs out with. So,
That's great.
yeah.
Glad my
That's
dogs
my same reaction.
Folks at home know I am not a fan of dolls. Wendell is the exception to the rule. Dummies,
He's nice.
Oh, thank you.
dummies
Yeah.
are okay, but that's about the.
I have a bunch of antique toys I have collected. So
Oh, toys are great. I'm fine with the toys.
There's
Just
dolls
don't-
in there.
I know. No.
Tiny dolls.
Don't want them. Don't want. And no, that's even worse. They could fit in small places.
Yes.
I'm good. I'm fine. Don't like them. Don't want them. Most memorable moment in investigation for you guys. Like, what's the piece of evidence that stands out to you that's like, I can't explain it. Like, what's your Zen moment, or have you not found it yet?
Oh man, there's some in the documentary actually.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
I
As much as you can.
can't talk too much about them, but once it comes out, I can talk more about it. Maybe we'll come back or something.
That's fine. Well, you guys come back, and when you're ready to break the news about it, that's good. But have you ever had the Zen moment? Like
We
the Moby Dick,
caught-
outside of the project, I guess. Like your moment of, like true clarity. Like, I have completed my journey.
I feel like I'm never done. I feel like
Well, you're
so-
never done, but like that evidence can be like debunked, right? But this is this is my evidence that I cannot debunk no matter how hard I try.
We had a door move one time that was pretty crazy because it was a heavy steel door that moved right next to us, and none of us touched it, and we tried to move it back and forth. That was a pretty crazy one.
Ireland.
Oh my God! So Ireland.
Forgot about that one.
For our honeymoon in Ireland, we were in a castle that had like beheadings out front or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good place to have a honeymoon. Absolutely, most romantic spot count panic. Yeah.
You want to tell this? You're better at telling stories.
Okay, so it was about. I'll try to make it quick. It was about 2 a.m. I was getting cold.
I was a skeptic
hot,
at this
cold,
time.
hot. Like I couldn't sleep. The bathroom door slams. I'm like, "Oh, like there's something in the room." He's like, "Not now. I'm
Ghost
tired."
stuff is not allowed when it's sleepy time. Just
I'm
saying.
like, that's great, but it's happening. And he's just like, no, like I don't really believe in all that, like whatever. And as like I have like the lamp on and everything too, and I'm like sitting up, I'm like, oh, there's something in this room with us, and he's like, nah, and all of a sudden while he's like saying no, it looks like something like sat on the bed because like the bed went down, like someone sat in it, and I was like, look, and he's like, oh well, it's probably an old
bad
mattress.
Springs.
It's
I
bad
tried to say
springs.
there was bad springs in the mattress.
And then I'm like, you see that? And he's like, yeah. But as I'm like, being like, hey, our sheets were pulled. I want to say a good, foot, 2 feet?
Enough
foot and a half?
a lot.
Like someone
lot.
was trying to get our attention. I'm like, did you see that? Like, how are you going to explain that one? Like,
draft.
I pulled the sheets back up and I said, no, it's sleepy time, and I went back to sleep.
And here I am getting poked and like cold and hot and cold. I'm like, what?
It's like in the comedy horror movies where like the one person's being affected like crazy and the other one's like, no, go to sleep.
Yeah, and Ellie's just
Sure.
like, I'm going to bed now. And I'm like, oh, man, now I gotta like stay up all night. And most nights I am, something's happening in the bedroom and he's fast asleep.
They gotta stop turning the noise machine off because that wakes me up.
All of a sudden our like little like waterfall shuts off, or it will start going up and down like someone's playing with the volume. It's a good time.
Sure. Count, do you have any questions for our lovely guests?
Bob, they've been everywhere. They're continuing to be everywhere. And, after this, a little tour later on.
I think we might be doing an investigation after this, Count, with
Heck
them.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Undisclosed location.
Undisclosed. They'll see because I'm posting it on Facebook instantly.
Oh.
I've not been on an investigation in a while, so I'm looking forward to it. But it's one of my favorite places to investigate because there's only been one other group there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I feel special.
that's my Zen moment. That was my now explain that like people on the air know, but my evidence moment came from that location, so I'm looking forward to it. So you guys have something going on that you can't talk about too much, but can you tell me as much as you can? You can get to the point.
Yes. So we are working on a documentary series.
Okay. About cheese.
About cheese.
The cheese
At the
castle.
Mars Castle.
It's just
Mars
Organic.
Cheese Cancel,
Like-
sponsor us. I've been asking for a couple of years now.
Come on, get on it, Mars Cheese
We're
Castle.
waiting for that sponsorship.
So our first documentary is coming out very soon. We can't say that we saw the premiere, so
It was very good.
it was very emotional. I almost started crying. I personally haven't seen anything like it before. Definitely not
It's different.
your typical ghost documentary where people are running down the hallway.
It's haunted documentaries.
Okay.
Yes.
And the best place to find out as progression and news comes, where can people find out about these things? And all about you guys, plug all of your stuffs.
We are mostly on ACG Paranormal Facebook.
Asparagus can grow.
Asparagus can grow. Or you can find us on Instagram. We have a YouTube. I'm working on it. Like
We got 2 videos up on YouTube under ACG.
I'm working on it.
Haunted documentaries though is on Instagram, Facebook. That's the main like
And
outlets right now.
we'll be posting like to our ACG too, like, hey guys, check out haunted documentaries. So haunted documentaries is what.
You guys were also the ones who got me on TikTok.
Wow.
TikTok's fun.
You guys got me on TikTok, yes.
We put more like little snippets on TikTok.
Like where we're going or where we've been.
TikTok
you know.
is like my favorite social media these days. It's so
Really?
much fun. I love
That's
TikTok,
awesome.
yes.
I'm glad we could.
Your TikTok is
We're gonna do
awesome.
that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So you guys, ACG Paranormal, pretty much wherever the...
We are actually on all socials. I made placeholders
a
and everything.
MySpace?
It's on MySpace, but MySpace is not very functional at the moment. But we do have a MySpace, so
You'll be on our top 8.
I appreciate that. There was a MySpace Resurgence website that was like a throwback to the original coding days of it, but that's I don't know if they made it. I was very excited.
that sounds fun.
Can't remember the name of it, but I'm glad I could make it to your top 8. That's exciting. So you guys are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good
Wait,
jazz.
we
don't
have a
really use the Twitter.
We're not on Twitter.
So you're not on all socials.
We
We
should
have-
be on. We're technically on.
We have a Twitter. It
you guys on
has some
Snapchat?
things on it. We are on
We
Snapchat.
have a Snapchat, but
I made everything, man. I'm not having someone make one and then try to get money from me.
That's fair.
We have a Twitch too, don't we?
We have a Twitch
Yeah.
And a Patreon.
and a Patreon and
Farmers
Linktree and a Farmers Only.
That was a joke. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. So no, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I hope you had fun.
Thank you so much,
for
Bob.
having
This
us,
is
Bob.
amazing.
Honestly, I could probably talk for another 3-4 hours. But
I know, but I'm excited and giddy to get on this investigation.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am too.
All right, so I always make my guests on the show when they're here to do some sort of quip, an anecdote, if you will, a quote, an inspirational line, a haiku, something to the audience. So I'm going to make you guys each do one.
Oh Lord.
A piece of advice. It could be anything.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, because I don't know any quotes.
It could be
Which camera?
anything.
Which camera am I looking
It
at?
could be whatever. It doesn't matter.
Here, I can move the.
I want to get intense here.
There you go.
It's this one right here.
Yes, that one. There you go.
Pole there.
If you decide to go paranormal investigating, make sure you always go with kindness and respect
And extra batteries.
and extra batteries.
Man, I was gonna say something similar. Why are we always reading each other's minds?
I went first.
It could be about anything.
Heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
That's good. All right, Count Panic, what you got to say for the end of the night?
Oh, man. Well, it's been a great episode. Great to be back here inside the studios. And, Bob, I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to this little investigation we're going to have right now.
Absolutely. Folks, thank you so much for listening and watching another episode of Bob After Dark. To my mom, I just want to wish you sweet dreams. To my dad, wherever your mind's at right now, I hope you find peace and solace and just know I'm thinking about you and I love you very much. To Tiff, no matter where you are in the world, I just want to wish you sweet dreams and have the sweetest dreams in them all. Remember, folks, the two most important rules of Bob After Dark are not all who wander are lost, and as above, so below. Until next time.
Memoriam Development.